Greetings. Welcome back to my garage. Happy May 4th. Over the quarantine, there are a few things we would have liked to have celebrated differently, I'm sure. A few of you had birthdays come and go, and maybe they're coming up soon. Easter made its way through, and it probably looked different than it did in previous years. So I'll take any chance to make a day a little more special than it even needs to be. So May 4th has become the official, unofficial Star Wars holiday. And won't worry if you're not a Star Wars fan or don't even like sci-fi or anything like that. Nothing to worry about. What I want to do today is show you how to make a little origami character. Okay, and the reason I'm doing this is because I've started today. You'll see that loaded up is the first section of a read aloud. I did a read aloud. That's one of the things I miss about being in class, is me reading aloud at the end of the day. So I did a read aloud, and I had another staff member help me out. So as you listen to this, you'll hear my voice and then someone else's voice. So if you think you know who it is, you can email me and tell me what you think. So the name of the book is The Strange Case of Origami Yoda. And so I'll give you just a little bit of backstory on Yoda before you start watching or listening to the audiobook, and you don't need to know much. So Yoda appears in a handful of the Star Wars movies that are out there, and generally he shows up and he is full of wisdom, and he is a teacher, and sometimes he is a bit of a rascal too.
Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you?
And so what I'm going to show you how to do today is to build an Origami Yoda, a very simple one. To make this Origami Yoda, you can use pretty much any piece of paper you want to. This is an old piece of scratch paper. You could use a piece of origami paper. But for this case, I like the idea of using part of a grocery sack. And you can, like I said, whatever square piece of paper you have lying around is fine. I like this idea of using this one because it kind of ends up looking like his clothes anyway. His clothes are kind of like brown and kind of ragged. So also the good thing about this is that I also have two already nice straight lines thanks to the bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut myself a piece out of here. I'm going to cut, and it doesn't have to be too big. So my hand is way bigger than yours. I'm not even going to use half the bag here. So I'm going to go about 3 or 4 fingers over and just kind of cut down. I don't need to worry about measuring or anything right now. And do the same thing this way. And then I'll cut this guy on the seam. Now I've got a fairly rectangular piece, right? He's not totally square. And this is my straight line here, and this is a straight line here. So how to make a square is you take those two straight lines and fold them together. And that's how you can get yourself a nice square. And this one is, he's got the little serrated edges, but that's fine. Now I flip it over and I can see there's a little chunk hanging over, and that's what I'm just going to trim that part off. And it does not have to be close to even perfect. All right, so now I have a relatively square piece of brown paper, which will be good. I'm going to put this little ridged part down at the bottom because that'll be like the bottom of his clothes here. Okay, super simple. Super simple. So what I'm going to do is start. This is the part that's going to be the bottom. If you don't have that, if you just have a regular piece of square paper, it doesn't matter which way you start. But I do want you to fold it in half, like that. Give yourself a nice crease there, because I'm going to want to be able to see that line. Now I can see my crease. Tougher for you to see in the document camera, but I can see my crease in the middle here. So my first move is to fold one of the edges, not right up to the crease, but just a little bit more than the crease. Okay, so get it up to the halfway spot you just made, and then go just a little further, and then give yourself a nice hard edge. And you can do the same thing with the other side, right to the middle, the fold you made, and a little bit further. Not a ton, but just a little bit past, and then nice hard fold. So that when you close it, one of them is slightly over the top of the other. All right, so now that I've got a nice crease on both of those, I'm going to take the one that's on top because I can get to him first. I'm going to kind of hold it about midway, and I'm going to kind of fold it back so it's opened up like that. All right, so not even a little bit more than halfway there. And I'm going to do the same with this piece now that I can get a hold of him. I'm just going to kind of open it up and fold it back like that. So I've got my square sheet, folded it just past the halfway, and now I'm kind of peeling back the top two and then giving those nice hard creases. And the good news about this Origami Yoda is we're almost done. All right, so all I'm going to do now is take this part and flip it down. And there, I'm done with the folding spot. Now, this part wants to come up, so this is where I kind of use my fingernail and maybe even the handle of the scissors to kind of make a nice tight fold on this stuff. And then all you have to do is find yourself some sort of green crayon or green marker or green colored pencil if you want to give it a little bit more. And then you just color this whole top part green because that's going to be Yoda's head and face. I'm going to open it up to color it a little quicker. Alright, for the sake of the time on this video, I'll be done coloring Yoda's head here. He will need 2 eyes and a mouth. So I think I'm just going to grab, I've got a Sharpie sitting here, but any other pen would work, and I'll just give him 2 eyes and a smiley face. So now I've got my official Origami Yoda. Well, how does he look? Does he look ready to dispense some wisdom? Yeah, who knows? He's a piece of paper on my finger. So I've sent you an email to talk to you about how to get to the audiobook. And the hope is that it's about 15 minutes a day. I wanted to do a chapter a day, but some of the chapters are really short, so it didn't make sense. So about 10 to 15 minutes a day, and then we'll see how long that takes to finish that book. One of my favorite books. It's kind of funny. So may the 4th be with you. We will see you hopefully tomorrow at our class meeting, and I too.